August 11th, 2026. Dear Proud Me. Are there ever days in your life that you just surprise yourself? Maybe you find money in your pocket that you didn't realize was there, or maybe you say no to something that you really didn't need. Today's been a great day. I got to work, had a great day with my client. I went to Walmart. Walmart during school season is extremely hard for me. I have a bit of an obsession with pins, as I've stated previously. And I walked down the school aisle and I saw pins and I looked at them and I touched them and then I put them back and I walked away. So that gave me a sense of pride. And then I helped my client learn something today, so that made me proud. I took care of all the stuff for my kiddo for school, got that set up, made it to back to school night. I changed my office. And that's probably the one that's the biggest for me. Because while I am good at a lot of things, change isn't one of them. I struggle with not knowing when things are going to change. I need the control to know that everything is fine and okay, and it's where it belongs, and it's time and its place. And I've been waiting for this change, and you guys have known that I was going to switch my office with my husband, and I've been kind of hyping myself up for it for a few days, but it's been slow in coming, which then aggravates me because I need to know when it's going to happen. Today, I got home from work, I moved stuff, and I am slowly but surely setting up my office. And that's not a huge deal because I'm pretty good with putting things where I want them to be and how I want them to be. But as I was moving things over, I looked at all my craft stuff. The stuff that I told you guys I've been moving with me for years. Stuff that I never use, but I have. And today, I just thought, I really don't want it. I think I'm going to give it away. And then I caught myself having the thought, and it was just I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel sad about it. I just am recognizing the things that fit the me who I am now, and that's not one of them. And then I had to take a minute to remember yesterday's podcast where we talked about persistently giving yourself credit for things, persistently saying how good you are at something. And today I did just that. I was able to acknowledge I'm doing a really good job. That doesn't mean everything's perfect. That doesn't mean everything in my life has worked out. But I could acknowledge that it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. I found out that I get to drop my kid off at school every morning, which I was trying to figure that all out because we have buses out here, obviously. But I didn't know how that was going to work, and I was a little skeptical about it. And it just so happens that it works out extremely well that he starts school in enough time for me to drop him off and still get to work. So I get to do that. I get to spend a few minutes with him before we go our separate ways. But then I also get to pick him up from school and find out how it went. So I get to be the start of his day where I can be encouraging and upbeat and recognize how he's feeling. But I also get to be the end of his school day to hear, all the tea and gossip of what's happened. And it makes me feel the way that I've always wanted to. We've talked about my struggle with not being a mom. And there's something about being able to take my kid to school and hear about it and watch them go through the school year. And that's not to say it's going to be fun. I recognize that it's high school and it's junior year and kids are awful sometimes. It's just a fact. Not all kids are nice. Not all kids get along. But I'm excited to see what the school year holds. I'm really surprised where this year started to where I'm at now. If you had asked me in January if this was going to happen, I wouldn't have been able to say yes to that. Back in January, I was sitting at home, laying on my couch, trying to find the sheer will to just survive. I had a job, but I worked 10 hours a week, and the rest of the time spent laying on my couch, sleeping it away, because I was just horribly depressed and super paranoid. And so, of course, the best way to handle that is by shutting myself in my house and not doing anything. It was to the point where I wouldn't go see friends and family. I wouldn't interact with friends. It was just bad. And I recognized that it was bad, and there's still nothing I could do about it. And I think that's, again, the struggle, right? Like, you can recognize, hey, I'm in a bad place. How do I get out of it? And for those of us who have those dear friends and family who are just like, smile more, laugh more, just be happy. We wish it was that easy. It'd be great to just get up and just be like, I'm going to be happy today and be happy. But that's not how that works. It's hard. And it was really hard for me this beginning of the year. I was going through a lot of things. I was feeling unwanted and rejected and confused and hurt. And I just let it beat me up. I got in my head and I just let it tear me to pieces. And I wallowed in it because it was all I knew how to do. I knew that thoughts were bad. I knew that feeling was bad. I knew that it wasn't going anywhere. And yet I couldn't just snap myself out of it. And I feel like that's what happens generally when I'm in a depressed mood. I can feel it coming. And I feel like a lot of us do. We feel it coming. We just don't know how to navigate around it. When you're driving and you see something in the road, you can swerve to miss it. Mental health doesn't let you do that. You see it in the road and you're still going to run right into it. You see that wall and you say, I see that wall, I'm approaching that wall. You hit the wall. And then it's having to deal with the carnage of everything that's happened after you hit the wall. And so for some of us, that looks like holding ourselves up in rooms and burying ourselves in things that probably aren't the most healthiest. But it's what we can do to survive. How do you beat hitting that wall? Some of us medicate. Some of us meditate. Some of us talk to others. But even with those things, it's still hard to get around the wall. In therapy, they teach coping skills. Well, use this coping skill. And, I'm a fan of deep breathing and using my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 techniques and by box breathing. And even with all of that, I see the wall and I can't stop hitting it. And I remember talking to my therapist about it, and it was, well, you just have to use your skills. It's not lack of trying. It's just in that moment when you're getting ready to hit something, your body naturally tenses up, right? You naturally freeze. You get tense. You prepare for impact. Our mental health does the same thing. We see it. We would love to be able to breathe through it, relax, so it's easier to get through. That's not how that works. And so for me, coming back from that was a fight. It was hard. I wish I could say that every day I just told myself to get better and it worked. It's not what worked. I had to keep putting myself out there. I had to keep talking to the people I needed to talk to. I had to fight the battles that I was having. And that's what it looks like. It looks like fighting battles, right? So to everybody else, seemingly, it's all so easy to take care of. Oh, you can get over that. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. And to them, that may very much be the case. It's not that hard to get over. It's not that big of a deal. When you're living in it, you're drowning. You're suffering. I liken it to, I feel like I'm in a pool on the deep end, and I'm holding all this baggage, and I'm coming under the water. Like, I can feel it just coming over my head. And then I have friends and family standing outside the pool saying, hey, can you hold this for me? And giving me more. As if they don't see that I'm drowning. And I don't think that they mean to. I don't think that everybody always recognizes that's what they're doing. That doesn't change us what's happening. And so we have to fight and crawl our way to the surface and crawl ourselves out of this pool. How do you do that when it's all so heavy? Yes, in a perfect world, that wouldn't happen. We don't live in a perfect world. We live in a world where things are hard and they're scary and they're big, and we're taking it day by day. And that's mental health, taking it day by day. So day by day, I would try something different. I do a little bit more. It was maybe today we don't stay in bed. Maybe today we make it to the couch. Maybe today we get up and we shower. Maybe today we eat something more than just this. Maybe we deviate from the plan that we think is the safest plan for us. And I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going. And I talked to my therapist, and I talked to my psychiatrist, and I took the meds. I wish I could say that it all just made it better. It helped. Truly, it helped. It did. But it wasn't until I started to process doing something for me that it actually worked. You see, we do things because we're told to do them. Well, if you do this, this will work. If you do this, this will change things. If you take this med, you'll feel better. And I'm not saying that's not true, because it can be. But even with all those things, until I decided, like, this is what I want, and I'm going to go for it, nothing was going to change. And that mindset is so hard, because how do you tell yourself to go for something when you have no encouragement, no willpower to do it? It's hard. We do hard things. I think that those of us struggling with mental health don't get enough credit for some of the hard things that we do. No, we're not asking for a parade in honor of us. We're not asking for a pat on the back. But we are saying, look, some days it looks like saying, I'm getting up and I'm making the effort. My kiddo today was like, I got up and I got dressed to go to back to school night. Did either of us want to go to back to school night? No. No, we didn't. We knew that we needed to. We knew that we had to. We did. And while back to school night in and of itself wasn't fun, I think we could both say we enjoyed our time together. We are very much alike, so when things happen, we look at each other and we just instantly know what the other person's thinking, and then we laugh because we know what's going on. Did I enjoy that? Yeah. Did I enjoy my time with my kid? Absolutely. Do I recognize that neither of us wanted to be there? It's a large group of people that neither of us know. We are now having to either talk to people that we don't know, interact with people we don't want to interact with. We have to wear this mask. And it's not to say we have to fake it, but like, I have to have some commodity of being nice to you. You walking up to me is not a reason for me to snap on you. However, in my brain, you walking up to me is a reason to snap on you. And so, for example, we were walking and this young lady stepped in front of us and we had no idea what she was doing. I don't think she meant any harm, but she stepped in front of us, faltered, looked at us, says, oh, I'm sorry, and starts to walk off, and we just look at each other, and there's this look of, the fuck? And then we laugh. And that was the end of it. Like, it wasn't this big moment. It wasn't that something really big happened. It was just, we had a reason to laugh. And again, I think that's how pulling yourself up works. It's not, oh my gosh, there's this life-changing event that I have to work for. It's just that one day something is okay to laugh at. One day something is okay to accomplish. And then you keep adding to it. And so for me, that looks like ending up where I am now, where today I was just proud of myself. I did big things. I switched my office. I cleaned up things that I didn't think I would clean up. Yesterday I posted my book on Amazon. I've done big things this week. And it's Tuesday. Does that mean my week is going to go perfect? Absolutely not. I don't expect that to be the case. I expect it to be rocky. Because naturally, for me, I expect bad things to happen. That's how my brain works. But it's a nice surprise when it doesn't go bad. It's a nice surprise where today it was hey, that all worked. That worked out better than I could have imagined it working. I like the fact that it did that. And even more than liking the fact that it happened, those are things I made happen. I did what I needed to do to get the things that I wanted, and it worked. So today, I'm proud of me. My bite of pie is being proud of myself. I said yesterday that I was going to start giving myself credit for the little things that I do. Acknowledging that I'm good at something. Being persistent and acknowledging that I'm good at stuff. And today, I did just that. My goal yesterday was my bite of pie today. And I think that's how every day should look. Hey, I recognize that I struggle here in this situation. I realized that yesterday, this was my feeling. How do I improve upon that feeling so that today is a different day? So that's what I tried. Is it always going to be perfect? No. Am I going to have setbacks? Yes. But one of the things I learned at my last job was that my girls would get up every morning and do a goal sheet, a daily goal sheet. And they would set a goal for how they wanted to be, what they wanted to accomplish, what they wanted to do just for the day. And the way that they would figure out how to navigate meeting that goal. And it sounds so simple. And quite frankly, I think a lot of us thought it was stupid. Adults and kids included. Because it was sometimes the goal was just stay out of fights. Well, obviously you have control over that. But it's not just staying out of fights. It's being able to tell yourself, this is not worth it. It's being able to walk away. It's being able to calm yourself down, self-regulate. And then in that, it's learning the things that make you self-regulate. For me, it's putting on music. For me, it's dancing. It's singing. It's being creative. So I hope that every day I continue to wake up and say, hey, my goal today is to do better than yesterday. And that doesn't have to look like climbing Mount Everest or being the fastest runner. It just has to look like me taking one step forward that I didn't take yesterday. Today, it was being proud. It was acknowledging that I can do hard things. I can do good things. You could do hard things. You could do good things. If I can move to an office with a purple wall, it's my husband's favorite color. It was his office previously. And I can give away things that I never thought I could give up. If I can have one good day where I'm just like, I did that, you can too. And the day that you do, I'm going to cheer you on. Or in the words of my client, yay, you did it! And I will yay, you did it the whole way through. I will cheer you on. Because you are doing it. You're showing up each and every day. I know that's not easy. I've been there. I'm still there. There are days that I just want to stay in bed. You heard me just say a couple of sessions ago, I took an anxiety med to go to bed because I was just spit for the day. Because it happens. It's not about perfection. It's about showing up in the best way you know how. So I'll show up for you. You show up for me, and we'll keep helping each other out. We'll keep growing together. One step at a time, one bite at a time. Because just remember, today is another page in the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be written. And before you close your journal tonight, ask yourself, what was your bite of pie today? Until tomorrow, love you loud.